And welcome back to Cooking with Steve. We had a little absence here, had some earthquakes. I'll give you a little update on that. Right before the earthquake, took a ride up into the province, and we'll just run that video. Always an interesting ride up there. Hope this microphone's working. Absolutely no idea why it does or doesn't. And actually, let me go back, put this on pause, and check if it's working, if there's a chance. All right, we're going to switch microphones, see if this one works better. It's supposed to. It goes off. Again, up a little ride in the province, and we can take a look at the video on there. Always interesting. Never know what you're going to run into up there. Dirt road, cement road, construction, goats. But the earthquake was pretty severe. It was centered about 50 miles north of here. I think it was at 10 o'clock at night, and it was shaking my apartment. I'm on the 20th floor, shaking that so hard it was hard to walk. I was in a stroke. I was drunk or something. I couldn't remember. But then it did, of course, after just mere seconds, probably split seconds, got to grasp the situation, put my evacuation plan into order, grab my go bag, which had some cash, grab my wallet, put on shoes. I always want to wear shoes in an emergency. Nothing worse than getting halfway down the building and having broken glass to walk over barefoot. So you always want to wear those shoes. Didn't bother bringing a gun. You don't need a gun. I did bring ammo. When it's time, as I like to say, when it's time for a gun, you don't need to worry about a gun. You need to worry about the ammo. There will be plenty of empty guns next to the dead bodies. You just pick one of those up and reload if you've got something to reload with. But of course, thankfully, nothing bad happened, at least not that I'm aware of. I did have some medication that I bring, and I just decided, because I don't know what's going on, might have been a mistake. I ate all of that, and I just woke up this morning. And it's like, what happened? So I was reading the papers and the internet to see what happened. I'll update you on the internet, but probably shouldn't have taken all those pills, and a lot of them I just didn't know what they are. But I didn't have any problems with the earthquake, so it might be a good thing to do. Just maybe get some more pills, and as soon as there's a problem, fire, earthquake, invasion, whatever, just eat all those, and then sleep it all through, like a bear hibernating, and then wake up and get a little bit of a headache and a ringing in my ears still, but and somehow I got a haircut. I don't even remember that, but it all worked out. But let me update you on the earthquake. It was very severe. About 70 fatalities north of here. It was, and then a week or so after that, another earthquake, unrelated, they say. South of here, near Davao, off the coast there, not as much damage. I believe less than 15 fatalities. And there's a fair amount of damage. You got to understand, a lot of these houses are built with a cinder block wall or two, a hollow block they call them here, but cement cinder block, and they don't always use rebar, or don't put it in the right place, or don't use enough. And when those walls fall, that'll crush you. So, and I'm in a tall building. If it went down, that would be like no chance of survival. But I did get down to the ground floor, walked out the building, and there were people there in the lobby waiting. And I went out of the building, out to the street, and away from the building. The building's maybe 300 feet tall. I decided to go 300 feet away from it, maybe 350, just in case anything rolled or bounced. Because I'm thinking, if you're going to wait in the lobby, you might as well wait in your apartment and not bother coming down the stairs, because the building, if it does fall, it's going to end up in the lobby. But the guards and the housekeeper and all the people in charge of the building thought that was a great place to wait. And there's nice couches there, so it's comfortable. But I thought, get away from the building. And then a week later, I did drive up to Danao, which is a little city north of here, about an hour drive. I was taking a look at a piece of property, and just there was all sorts of traffic. People going north, cars and trucks loaded with supplies, water, food, to where it was causing a traffic jam, the worst traffic I've seen there. And it was all day, and then also the next day, because I spent the night there. And talking to some people, it was just they didn't trust giving the money or the food to the government to have them bring it up there, so they brought it up themselves, and also wanted to help. But I imagine the traffic when you got north, because the roads get smaller and a lot of them were broken. There's like all these people just stuck there; they couldn't even get there. I did talk to somebody that was up there, and there was food and water available, and actually resources being deployed. And it takes a long time to recover. Philippines is very resilient, and it's like, the house fell over, but we still have rice and water, so everything's okay. And it's not like it's going to get snow here, but it does rain quite a bit. It's nice to have a roof for that. But all right, let's go look at the roads here up Little Drive. I will be getting back on schedule with my videos. I did have a couple people talk to me, a couple local. Got an email from the U.S., people that were worried and really wanting to see the content. And I think a lot of them, emotional issues, knowing that I'm here and keeping an eye on the world for them does reassure them and makes them just feel safer. They say, well, if Steve is there, things can't be that bad. Which, I've heard the opposite. It's like, oh, Steve's here, things are going to get bad. But I'm sure that was all just good-natured humor. But all right, let me switch modes, and I will try to do a voiceover, try to mute the sound. I hope this microphone's working. I did find the right button for it. And it sometimes works with the camera on, but it stops working when I'm doing voiceover. We'll deal with that. We'll handle that situation when it comes, just like we handled the earthquake situation. Hopefully. And I'm going to try to keep this one to 10 minutes. Good luck. But we will be back tomorrow with some new content, possibly working on doing some interviews with local people. And I do have a friend of mine, actually, I'm going to say that so-called celebrity from the U.S. wants to kind of cling on to my site to try to get some exposure. But we're going to be doing a couple interesting broadcasts, I guess we would call that. All right. Well, this particular ride, I went in the mountains or hills over Guadalupe. That's the Guadalupe Church on the left. And we're turning here to the right, driving through the barangay. Little community here, narrow street, problem with traffic sometimes. And then this is heading up into the mountain. Nice new cement road put in the last year or two in different sections. But it doesn't always go on the steep parts where it's hard to pour cement. So this is fairly steep here, kind of rutted, but fun to drive on. And then it'll turn back into cement, sometimes smooth. I think here it was pretty smooth. Sometimes it's like jumping over a curb and no warning whatsoever. You just have to look. All these roads were built not with a cement truck. No cement trucks come up here because it's too fast. And then you don't have jobs, I think. But this is done by the bag with a cement mixer, gas-powered cement mixer, and shovels and stuff. Here's an elevator for some reason. Not quite sure why that's in there, but here we are driving. You can see up in the mountain. This is up high. That's actually a view of Cebu. Can't see it. The camera works great sometimes and sometimes not. But that's, I should turn the volume off. But here you can see the road. That drops off 30, 40, 50 feet straight down. There's some trees that will slow you down. And it could be 300 feet. I don't know. I don't know what's below the trees, but it's very steep. And no guardrail, just straight down. All right, I'm switching microphones again, see if this one works better. Now there's a picture of my motorcycle. That's a Honda 150, very basic bike, carburetor, but very durable, pretty cheap, like less than $2,000. good in the province on dirt roads, good jumping up on sidewalks. Now, this is where we started our run, or actually, this is coming back, Guadalupe Church, one of the larger churches in Cebu. And we did a loop around behind the church, up in the mountain, or hill, I would call it. But beautiful views up there. It's much cooler when you get up there about 1,000, 2,000 feet of elevation. Just kind of endless roads, goes forever and ever. You never know what you see. I drive up there a lot. This is my second bike. I had another one. Same thing. Just started getting hard to get parts for it, so I just got rid of it. Sold pretty easily. You see goats here. Just what you just never know what you're going to see. I actually saw it brand new on this trip, or a trip before, brand new not a front end loader, but like a backhoe type thing, big one, tipped over, almost rolled down a hill, brand new, plastic still on it. And they did pick it up this last time. But beautiful views again, cool, nice views. You can see the ocean. If you get up high enough, you can see across to Negros Oriental and the ocean over there. A lot of motorcycles, and some of them are very loud. Mine's pretty quiet. You can't even hear it in the video much. But some of these others are quite loud, make a Harley Davidson seem quiet. Well, that's going to wind it up. I'll start working on my next video, and I'll try to start updating these again, because I know some of you people, especially my shut-in viewers, are really relying on me for their sole source of information in the world. And we're not going to let you down. Remember to like and share, or at least leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see. Would you like to see some interviews? All right, thank you very much.